All right, and we are live for the first time. Spectre Studio Hangout. Rico here, aka Spectre FedSen, with my brother
Spectre
Benito.
Spectre Senence, yep. Or Spectre Prime is being the first of this whole little clan group.
AKA.
Also known as.
Well, we've been posting quite a few videos lately. We talked a little while ago in one of our videos. You finally got your system back up and running. So more bat reps will be coming out. But tonight we got a few other games that we want to talk about. Eldar Codex that you just picked up. There's some X-Wings news floating around that we need to talk about. And then the Spectre Studio is not limited to just games and videos. We've also been doing some sponsorship. We've got a couple of Kickstarter campaigns that we've been looking at, that we've been backing, and that goes a long way. Ben's been backing the Zombicide Kickstarter campaigns with the Season 1, and then more recently the Season 2 that should be out pretty soon. And we'll talk a little bit about Zombicide, WarMachine, and maybe a few other things depending on how long things go. So why don't we go ahead and get started, and let's talk about the Codex that you just picked up. That's the Eldar Codex for Warhammer 40K.
So 40K, very nice, well-editioned codexes, the new releases of things going on there. Pricier, but hardcover now. They used to be softcover codexes. All hardcover now. So I got a couple things that'll be quick for you to review at for those people that are interested in the new Eldar. This is the first codex that I've actually purchased of all the races that have come out, because that's what I kind of like are planning on using as allies. I actually run Dark Eldar, but the Eldar are the only battle brothers to the Dark Eldar, so that's why I picked that up. Two cool new things right off the bat that come out of the Eldar powers. Basically, they're Eldar-specific powers, which is Ancient Doom, which is actually a neat little rule, which allows them to have hatred against demons of Slaanesh or anything with a mark of Slaanesh. So that's against Chaos Demons and Chaos Marines.
You'd be extremely hateful. That's awesome.
Yeah, but the cool thing is it also is it's a good pro and con. I've been working with a couple things, like the Friday Salutum, if people were part of that. I like pros and cons. I think it really works well into making a fair system, so you get a good, but you get a bad. A lot of systems use edges and flaws. So this one, the bad thing is you get a -1 penalty of leadership when you're engaged in models with this mark of Slaanesh. So you have hatred, so it's going to really help you with wounding and all that ability. But if you're losing, it's fear. You're afraid you're going to lose. So that's a neat. I like you, GW, doing a little bit of that. So working with that writing. The next one is Battle Focus, which really adds to making the Eldar speed. Basically, after they can either shoot or then run. So they really are moving, shoot, run, or move, run, and then shoot. So that's a lot of speed coming out from Eldar. But you expect that at Elves, so we like that.
You do. It's more characteristic to their race, and that'll actually go a long way in strategy. I think that'll change the strategy of how people use them, being able to be a lot more active.
And a power like that also changes the element of an army's work. So we're... I've got children going crazy right now. All right, guys. The cool thing is, like, where towers are very similar with the shooting and having great weaponry and power, Eldar now are more about the speed to them. So not only good shooting, but speed. So the two armies will play differently, which is very important if you want the Codex people to play different armies. You're going to have that ability to span to doing two different things. So Tau use the technology to kind of make things better. Eldar will be about maneuvering, about getting in a better position and allowing that. The biggest changes to the Farseer, I want to kind of make sure people are aware of that. The biggest one was the Runes of Warding. As a Tyranid player myself, the blanketed 3d6 roll leadership that you have to make and you parallel everything over 12 or whatever it was, that's gone. Hooray. It was just a pain with all the new psychic powers that are coming out, the new psychic decks and stuff that they use. They just had to get rid of that. And this codex was due for it. They hit it. It's unfortunate that it was nerfed pretty badly. Like, you got that level of, oh my god, this is cheesy power, to now a once a game deny a witch on a 2-point. so that's only directing at an Eldar unit if you get to use this power. So it's not going to deny someone else buffing like like the old power like that. So it's pretty significant, the change of your Farseer's power. And in the same element, the Ghost Helm now will only avoid perils if you have an extra warp charge on your Farseer to expend. So before it would just like really help you ignore it on the roll. Now you have to have the warp charge. So the last power you use, if you peril, you're going to peril. So a little bit more vulnerable to Farseer. Still very playable. It's a level 3, one of the more powerful Cyclers in the game. So they're not total trash. And the new powers are definitely very interesting. They have a new type of deck, which is basically they have the Runes of Fate, which are very direct powers, like everybody else's powers. But then they have Runes of Battle, which is a neat new thing, which is there's a blessing or an effect that you can do on your own Eldar unit or an effect on an opposing unit. So it's an option immediately in battle. So one power is 2. So that's really neat that they do that. So that's very cool. I'm going to take it back to you for a second, though, because the wife is calling at a perfect time. Well,
that's an interesting little twist how it seems to be progressing with everything. And it's great to have the ability of working with
I'm on a video conference right now, Luca.
Helping things and getting a negative out of it. That way you're not overpowering one group. So that's pretty interesting. While Ben is conferencing calling the other. Oh, he's back.
Kids, wife, married family. That's my thing.
That's the life of a gamer. You know, this is kind of the behind the scenes. Is how things go. We you know, as much as we're doing this, we've got other things going on, and other things are the important things, which is family.
Which is why the videos are a little tougher to get up.
Yes, but no, I like the direction that it seems to be going, where it's not always just about making a faction or making a certain clan more powerful. Putting a little limitations in there, it keeps you thinking. You know, you're not going to just get one clan that's constantly just rolling over everybody. You know, you've got to worry about those negatives now as well. So.
Well, hopefully it'll work that. There's a little thing about that. There's a new character, the Spirit Seer, that links more to the Wraith Guard, but the Wraith Guard no longer have that the need for the stupidity roll that they had to roll before, staying close to Seers. So they pretty much have that freedom now to be regular troops. The Spirit Seer allows those guys to re-roll 1s if the Spirit Seer marks an opposing unit on the hit. So that's pretty dangerous. So I see a lot of Eldar armies looking for cheese to gravitate towards this Wraith Guard army. Going through the Codex, the Dire Avengers got probably one of the other changes in the game, where a lot of their powers were put in their weaponry. So the Blade Storm now is in the weaponry, not a gift that they basically like double their attack, something like that. They can't do any of those cool stuff anymore, which is, you know, again unfortunate, but in the same essence, it keeps them more relatively in the world of, you know. They're good units now. They have a chance of doing a lot of damage with the weaponry because of the way the weapons work. Blade Storm now is 6s automatically wound and AP2 weaponry, so it can kill Terminators. So that's cool, but we'll see exactly how much more they can do with that. Other aspect wares that look great were Swooping Hawks. They're able to deep strike without scattering if they all take the Herald of Victory. And Dark Reapers got the slow and purposeful, so now their heavy weapons can actually move. So they're much more mobile to shooting opponents down, plus with their ability now to take out flyers. So they gave them a lot of good options with that. The basic Guardians, there's a bat rep coming that we kind of cover this when I play Spectre Aims, where the platforms have a real key component to the games now. They were kind of like non-existent models, but yet they were weaponry used in the old Codex. This one, they're actually models. We found this out in the game, so you have to check that out to see exactly what we mean by that, because it threw us for a loop. We had to kind of play on the hinge of that, so it's something that's coming up. But it was cool, and I think it adds a little element to strategy that we haven't quite figured out, but we really want Spectre Aims to work on that, and I hope to have a couple more bat reps up where he kind of utilizes those platforms, because they're a lot tougher and better saves than the actual Guardians. The Guardians have a 5+ save, a platform is a 3, so it can actually pre-soak a lot of those extra shots because it could be the forward model. So that's interesting. The model that has been going through a lot of model changes and popularity going up and down was the Eldar Warwalkers. They're very good in this edition, and they were given Scout, so they really become super mobile, super able to move around the battlefield and get in position, and minimize that the vulnerability being open top like Walker. So we like that. One of the oddity models is Harlequins. That's in the Dark Eldar Codex. So in the Dark Eldar Codex, they have Stealth and Shrouding. And this one, they decided to change it. So it's interesting that Games Workshop FAQ'd that these guys should have Shrouded and Stealth. And in a new codex, Eldar, which still uses it, said that they will now have a psychic power called Veil of Tears, which is their old power back that we were FAQ'd out of, which is you have to roll 2d6 times 2 to be able to see the unit. So I thought that was quite funny. And I'm probably going to use the Harlequins out of the Dark Eldar because I think the Stealth and Shrouding is more powerful. Maybe. I'll have to play it out. So, Rangers are interesting. They got cheaper. They're still the same infiltrating, scouting. They do not have the weaponry, AP2 weaponry as well, like they had in the long term. You have to get them to become Pathfinders, and to do that, you need a special character to unlock them. But if you do, they are allowed to shoot anybody they want. They all have precision fire, which is the special rule to allow you to pick models. So that was neat. Really pumped up this new X-Arch Pathfinder guy. I thought that was pretty cool. And that really plays a lot of it. New models. The Wraith Knight is amazing. It's a jump monstrous creature with toughness 8, 6 wounds. It's pretty powerful. The new flyers, it looks sleek. And of course, the special characters are pretty much the same. So, a lot of cool stuff. A lot of things you can make personal. I found like the Remnants of Glory. A lot of little things you can make your character using them different, and of course, all your psychic powers that are pretty much in that. The weaponry has changed quite a bit. And it still has the same flavor of the old Codex, but definitely different terminology, such as Blade Storm, Laser Lock, the Detour Cannons, and stuff like that. So. Very good codex. Definitely, I see them really pushing forward. I don't know if I'm seeing what I would term the codex creep that we talked about in the last Minor of the Spectre, because this group seems to be very capable of dealing with Tau. Tau has a lot of their stuff coming in. The Dark Reapers can get rid of all the vehicles that the Tau use because they get to actually ignore Jink. With their precision firing and a lot of that stuff like that, they can really knock out characters and stuff, which are very pivotal to Tau. So this is probably the first one now moving from what the Tau were able to finally do over everybody else. Them becoming the very powerful, ruling the skies and knocking all that. I feel that the Eldar have come in and kind of really done the next level up. Like they're able to really deal with the Tau and that aspect. And again, you can see how things fare. Remember, Spectre Ames and our Bat Rep used some good battles. There's a lot of different models, so we can try some things out. So we didn't really power set situated against me, but I brought some stuff against them. So,
make sure you guys go out and check out that Bat Rep, and by all means, leave us some comments if you've got some experience on using them. Any tips that you want to put out there.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: with the new codex come out, you mentioned in the last Mind of the Spectre how Games Workshop updates one, goes a period of time, then they update another clan, and then waits a while. How does this codex look compared to everything that's not getting updated? Are they keeping it a level playing field with some of the pro cons that you mentioned, or does it seem like they might be getting a step ahead for a little while?
Of the gamers in my community that I've talked to, and looking at all these codexes now, there is one build that is in that so-called cheese thing, which is strong. Like I said, I think the Wraith Guard in this codex are that factor. With D-cannons, the power that they are, and the AP2 weaponry, they basically can hit and wound every vehicle they want. So I think they can become very disgusting with what they have. But in the same essence, if you look at everything else, if you are a player of wanting to play a lot of different stuff, this is a very balanced codex. The Psychers and all the stuff got pushed down. You don't have that blanket problems that you had before. You can play the Eldar and play well. And again, you watch the first bat rep that I have against the Eldar. It didn't feel like any of the units overall were doing that to me. And interesting enough that Carl, Spectre didn't want to bring the Wraith Knight, which everyone has been hammering about. I showed up on my game community on Wednesday, and I saw 4 of them. Everybody had one built already, ready to go. Unpainted, of course, many of them did, but it was ready to. They wanted to play. They wanted to see how this bad boy was. He didn't bring it against me because I have poison, which is the immediate deterrent of that. So, yeah, I feel pretty good that the Codex is still strong, and they're coming at a good speed. So I don't think there's been a lot of gap for things to kind of be messed around with. Every 2 months, there's a new Codex, a new army, so things are going pretty darn well.
And that's not too bad for a gap. I mean, it gives everybody involved a chance to pick up any new models that are coming out due to the Codex, build up the army a little bit better. You know, in the interest of making things look good, giving them time to paint up the models and whatnot.
Chase, come here.
And about that time, the next Codex comes out, so that's good. As long as they're not, Games Workshop's not getting crazy and putting things out there where one faction is getting a lot more strength and power compared to the ones that are not being updated right away. I think you'd get a lot of complaints from people on the game board if the Codex came out and the Eldar was suddenly 10 times stronger. So. Yeah, it's good. Good little upgrades, but not a lot.
Yeah, the Game Workshop front, their armies right now that all be coming out are positive. The only thing is their public relations network, like shutting down the internet stores and the bitses. I just think I just don't like that policy. I just think it's people spreading the word. Myself, we only have one good area to play. I know you have a very tough one in Brunswick that you're trying to get up and running. With policies like this, it doesn't help. I mean, there's not a whole lot of gamers in a given area to support a store pushing games like this. And if they allow the internet, they're allowed to bring in other interests from all over the place. One of my favorites, of course, is Mini Wargaming from Canada. Without them, I don't know how many people are actually interested in playing this thing. We're not doing YouTube videos ourselves. Like, if it wasn't for them, I'm not doing this.
Right, Mini Wargaming's got quite the following, but due to the changes in Game Workshop's policies, they had to shut down their physical store. Fortunately, they're able to keep their online presence with videos, their YouTube channel, and everything involved. It's kind of disturbing. It seems like we were talking a little bit earlier that I don't know if you want to call it a geek uprising, but gamers and geeks aren't ostracized anymore. Where it's like, oh, it's a bunch of geeks playing games. It's getting a lot more popular, a lot more prevalent, and then something like Games Workshop changes their rules, and that starts kind of hurting the culture. There's a lot of talk about the Xbox One that's coming out, and the restrictions that's putting on with used games and whatnot. And you mentioned the store in Tops of Maine, which is Gamebox. One of their big things is renting video games. They're not going to be able to do that with the new Xbox One. So it's fun. It's kind of hard to find your local game store where you can get together. But we still have it. There's the couple places you go to get the 40K games going. Gamebox is starting to get them out there. So it's fortunately they're not going away completely, but some of those restrictions are a little bit rough.
Well, my plug for us and a plug to our communities is to get on board with what we're doing here. I mean, I know you and me have been putting this together in hopes that the community around us jumps on board and joins us, and that's the big key.
It is, and I think that's when I signed on with you with Spectre Studios, that's one of the thought process I had was just to promote the gaming community, because it's it's fun, it's friends getting together, it's family, it's just a great environment. So.
Yep, and I know 40K is a big, expensive hobby, but what you're seeing out of Spectre Studio is finding the nice alternative gaming, and with what they're doing, making it hard to to really find community areas to play with the restrictions, it's good to have those alternative resources and choices. Which like you've seen now, we've put up some X-wings. Because X-Wing is a straight out of the box, you can play and have fun, or you can start buying ships slowly and having more options, and definitely adding more flavor to your game.
Absolutely, and that's a great segue to our next topic, which is X-Wing. Hopefully, most of you have seen the bat reps that we put up. I've been a part of a couple of them. I had a unfortunate run-in with yourself, where my Imperial Army didn't do. I don't even want to say didn't do well. They didn't do anything. Completely annihilated. I don't even know if I did any physical damage. I think it was all limited to just loss of shields on your end. And then I was able to do a 180 with Spectre Wild there, Matt.
Yes.
And put a hurting on him and actually win that match. So that was interesting. But X-Wing is a great game. If you're a Star Wars fan, you've already heard of the game. If you haven't, then I'm going to pull your Star Wars card because this is a great game. It's a board game. There's miniatures involved. I don't need to get into the full description. Check out one of the bat reps if you want to see it firsthand. But there is some new news on the X-Wing front. There's some new models coming out. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about what you've come across?
Yeah, so I went over to Fantasy Flight with their new news, and they're gonna show that the Lambda class shuttle and the HWK 290. They go over some rules of that. So this is get back to the top of the screen here. So there's some previews. They're putting out some of what the ships are going to be box labbed. So yes, the wings fold up and go down. So nice little maneuverability with that. Interesting thing there, they added Captain Kagi. They're going to show some characters, Colonel Jendon, Captain Yor. And the cool thing about this is Captain Yor can absorb the stress tokens other ships would take. So you can go down a little bit and see push the limit. Allows you to basically help do extra actions, and this is going to take those stress tokens away and allow this. The cool thing is the Navigator is a nice little upgrade card. This is with the Intelligence Agent. Basically, you can find out what the other ship, like this X-Wing right here, is going to move, and that allows you to change your dials so you can see that the shuttle speeds up. This forces the X-Wing to crash into the shuttle, allowing the other two Imperial fighters to close in and have a full shooting on the X-Wing. So nice little move there.
It's excellent upgrades that they got with it, and I tell you, those having played a couple of games now, the upgrades and some of the extras that come with this are a huge part of the strategy. And I like the idea of having 2 or 3 different pilots, so you can go with a different type of strategy with who the actual pilot is. I think we've seen Lando Calrissian a couple of times with the Millennium Falcon. We've yet to see someone actually field Han Solo. So I'm waiting for that.
That's going to be the new bat rep.
There you go. Well, so make sure you watch the next Star Wars bat ring.
Yep. The next bat rep that we got going on is Boba Fett and Cat Scarlet. And you want to check that out because I've actually painted Cat Scarlet's ship. So I repainted the fire spray, trying to hunt down Han Solo, and he's got Dutch Vander. So how that works there. So
Dutch is a reoccurring pain in the ass for the Imperial Force. So
yeah, it's Spectre Wild's favorite pilot. Yeah, he very rarely goes without him, which is pretty much Dark Hearst very rarely goes without mine. But to do the bounty hunter thing, I am actually doing without. So I'm trying to break out of habits.
And I want to make sure everybody actually goes and checks out the bat rep, so don't give up too much information. But I do have to ask for at least one spoiler. Does a Millennium Falcon run into any of his fellow ships?
He actually performs the same maneuver that he did in your bat rep. And what I mean with that is he does the Maverick Top Gun move. Unbelievable, he pulls that. Which gives interesting at how he runs into other stuff. He can pull this maneuver, but he cannot avoid asteroids. So, and I will say that I cannot fly the fire sprays at all. You can see how many things I get on that as well. So some funny aspects of that. I'll try to get those up as soon as I can. But I want to finish up with what Fantasy Flight is doing.
Yes.
So this is the HWK290 because this was a little interesting. So Jans Ors, Kyle Katarn, and Warwick Garnett are new pilot upgrades to those for that. I'm sure besides the basic. Warwick Garnett is cool because he can give one friendly ship the 12 pilot skill 12 at the beginning of the combat phase. So that he can really change the strategy of who's going first and what's going on. There's a new blaster turret they mentioned here, and the shuttle has a 360 firing, so nice little cheaper version of a shuttle with that same type of firepower as the YT-1300. The other thing I found was interesting was the Saboteur rule, which basically allows you to turn a face-down card, so a card that's already been damaged on a shuttle, a ship, and then turn it face up. So you end up having to take the critical effect on that ship.
And that critical can be dangerous. We saw the match I had against Matt that he took a couple of critical hits that ended up being multiple hits instead of just like a loss of an engine or something. That can be very effective.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to go check on what's going on with children.
All right, while he's checking on the little minions, I'm going to talk about, again, some of the other things that Spectre Studios is getting into. We're not just about making videos for YouTube. We're trying to promote the overall gaming culture as a whole. And as part of that, we've been following various different games on Kickstarter. And as I talked about earlier, Ben has been very much a part of the Zombicide from the very beginning. He helped with the funding on the Season 1, which amazingly they raised just a ton of money. And then the Zombicide Season 2 he helped fund, and they ended up raising over $2 million something. Last time I checked, it was well over $2 million. So the Season 2 is rolling. And we've kept it going. I have, with the help of Ben, we've backed a card game that's coming out called Apocalypse Card Game. And let me get you a little shot here.
Yeah, really fun guys. We met them at PAX. So that was really nice.
We did. And, alright, that's not what I wanted. So let's try that again.
First time on doing this Google webcam.
There we go. So that's the Kickstarter page for Apocalypse Card Game. It says 1 day left. It's actually over. It has been fully funded. They raised a little over $13,000 when they were initially only going for about $5,000. We did meet them at PAX, and that's what caught our interest. So we decided to go ahead and fund them. And we actually funded them at the $50 level, which is going to get us all 4 decks that are coming out. So we'll be able to play a full game of Apocalypse. They actually met a couple of their what do they call it? Their extra goals in the game. It looks like a really great fun card game. It's you got different factions that you can use. They've got survivors. They've got the military, and the idea is basic survival. You're post-apocalyptic. You're trying to keep your people and your group alive. You have to go out and scavenge for food and supplies. At the same time, you've got to ward off and fight off the zombies and the opposing factions. So it's a deck builder game, but it's not one like the obvious deck builder everybody compares to Magic the Gathering. You're not going to go out and be buying, hundreds and hundreds of dollars of different cards and box sets and swapping in and out. Ivan Turner and Nine Kingdoms Publications set this up pretty well, where, again, you've got the 4 different decks. The decks are set. They're ready to go right out of the box. They will obviously have some expansion stuff here and there that you can get a hold of. but it's one of those ones you can sit down and play, and it fits right in the mold of what we like. It's a casual game. You know, one game might take you a half hour, might take you an hour, depending on how things are going, but it's not an all-nighter. So expected release date is September. So we still got a little ways to go before it's launched, but rest assured, when it is launched, we'll definitely have a bat rep or two or some sort of video up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a zombie September promo thing going on, because that's also when Zombicide is going to be set to release. So season 2 starts on.
Actually,
September
I think
as well.
we might have it'll be a September rolling into October, getting ready for Halloween. Just run a bunch of different zombies, and I know you guys all out there love zombies, so it should be interesting. Beyond Apocalypse card game, we also have another campaign that you've been following.
Something I'm looking close. I haven't quite yet backed up yet, but looking to something I want to get into, which is a miniatures company that has. Let's see if I can find what I'm looking for. All right, give me a second to kind of move around here.
Yeah, and I'll try to put links to everything that we've been talking about, the screen captures that we're showing up here. I'll put links to this stuff in the description for you guys out there. So if you want to get a little bit more detail on it and read up on it,
yeah.
you'll be able
to. This is Raging Heroes. I've actually purchased a couple of models of this. One of my witches for my Dark Eldar I use, plus my Archon. So 2 models in that, and I've just picked up a Commissar out of this. So what this is basically are the toughest girls of the galaxy. So 3 factions, and this shows only a little bit from their original page. You can see a lot of the other backing that's kind of going on. So there are the Kurganovas, the Iron Empire, and the Jailbird. Kurganovas make excellent Marine substitutes, if you're looking for that, where the Iron Empire can be very well either Sisters of Battle or Imperial Guard maybe, depending what you want. So you can see a lot of the things working with that. They've got support weapons and stuff. And the Jailbirds make instant great Imperial Guard models if you want. Not to mention any futuristic thing that you are doing, you're getting into. There are a couple models that look pretty close to Dust. So you can see a lot of their upgrades, but these are also fantastic models of paint. And this is something else they just unlocked. So a possible other rendition model that you may want to use. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so some really good stuff, really great characters, really tough stuff. I can tell you their attention to their detail is fantastic. Their models look like women, a little sultry in some aspects, but it's something that if you're a geek nerd like myself and women, tough women with that still look sexy, for figures, they've captured. They're awesome. They're just downright awesome. I can't tell you how happy I was with the miniatures that I got. They're very delicate. You can definitely tell that, but that's the whole point. You don't really expect bulky, thick, hard models that just look like thick.
Pays a good homage to all the female gamers out there. Contrary to myth, it's not all a bunch of single guys that are gamers. Now,
yeah.
There's women out there of all ages. Married as well as guys that are married, such as ourselves. So
female gamers are rising into this, and now they can do something more than just because the Sisters of Battle, if you look at that range, are old sculpts, limited, and poor sculpts. There's some good ones, but most of them are pretty bad and bulky looking. These will be great substitutes for someone who wants to have a fantastic looking army. I know with some of the female gamers that I've seen on the internet that can have a great looking army, well painted at their skill level, and look tough. I mean, there's some real great characters in this model that I've seen from looking at it. So just check it out. Like again, this is what we're going to do is for Spectre Studios, because Kickstarter is a new thing. Nobody is limited to being stuck not doing anything anymore. You can put it out there and people see it and they love it, then you will be in business.
Absolutely. I mean, just looking at that page, I mean, they're looking to raise 12,000, and they almost broke the 400,000 mark.
Yeah, they instantly.
It's amazing. Zombicide. I don't think the guys with Guillotine Games would have expected them to rake in millions of dollars to be able to put out this game. I mean, some designers and game publishers go out there and they don't even make $1 million after the game is released. So to be able to pull in that type of money just to get the game on the shelves is great. Kickstarter is a wonderful, wonderful website for indie gamers, indie designers, musicians, artwork. I mean, it's great. I've looked at quite a different array of campaigns on Kickstarter, and it's nice from a gamer level to see things like Zombicide and Apocalypse and Raging Heroes. These things to get funded, and then video games. A lot of indie video game designers are actually seeing success through there. So it's a great tool for people to use.
Absolutely.
Speaking of Kickstarter and Zombicide, we do have the episode of Got Tabled that we ran with Zombicide, and if you watched the episode, and hopefully you have, the outcome of the 4 survivors and how that ended. I don't want to give too much of a spoiler, but if that was a movie, it would not have been your typical ending. I guess that's a safe way of saying it.
But it was the typical move.
It was. A couple Cavalier players, and unfortunately, in more of a real life setting and not a movie setting, it doesn't work out as well. But going off of that, we decided to take a different route with Spectre Studios, and we have a new episode coming out, and it's basically titled Spectre Studios Playing Dead, and we were getting back into Zombicide because we love the game, and it's something we want to play often. And the different take on this time around is we've got a set of gamers, and we're taking on roles. The first episode, you'll see myself, you'll see Spectre Senence, Spectre Wiley is in there, and then a new gamer to our studios, Ryan Sullivan, joins us, and we take you through our first episode, which technically will be mission number 2, and that video will be coming out shortly, and that'll be a series that we're going to carry on for as long as we can go. We are planning on setting it up in a mini-series fashion, and as long as we stay alive, you will continue to see us. If we don't make it, then you probably won't see us, unless it's a gag reel and you see us in the background. And we'll let that run out for as long as we can. Hopefully, make it through at least the original set of missions, and then go from there. But it was extremely fun. This episode coming out was great. I don't know if you want to add a little bit to that of without giving away the contents of what we did.
Cool thing is if you go from Got Tabled, where I really kind of broke it out and put everything out there. At that time, I think El Cholo was the only new figure promo that was used. The other one was original. This one, not giving anything away, but all promo. So this is once again how Spectre Studio backs this Zombicide Guillotine games, cool minis or not. So we're really excited about that. I really enjoyed it. I painted the entire figure set, so it is some great promo looking models plus the zombies that are all walking through the street. I played the game, but I am thrilled to check out what Spectre FedSen has done with the actual video. I can't wait to watch it and let my boys watch it. Hopefully we tone the language down a little bit, but I know it got very heated and a lot of things going on. I can say there was one point where I know you got a little ticked with me because I was about to pull I'm thinking all by myself move. So I was better really my brother in a bad situation, so see exactly what that was. And see how I responded to that. But I think it's definitely a great bridge to what we want to do. I know the next mission looks pretty darn dangerous.
Yeah, I'm peeking ahead at the next mission, and I'm not looking forward to it. I'll
Yeah,
tell you
we'll
the
see who's
truth.
in it. We like I said, we don't want to give any away. So let's see who survives to play that next mission and move it around. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we did really well. The promos were pretty good. I know your costume gag was off the hook. I can't believe you had it. I was surprised when I walked in and saw it. So again, if you love Zombicide, we know a bunch of you have watched us. We hope that you tag on and check that out, and we hope that you really move into and seeing that because I can't wait for September to see the new edition. But I want to play more of this one.
Yeah, we definitely want to. We definitely want to get a few episodes under our belt before the next edition goes out because we're going to want to jump into that as soon as we can.
And I'll add one little plug here. We filled out those actors. We have a couple others that are also filled to fill in case things should happen exactly as things end if we die, as you mentioned. So we had to have some alternative plans with players. So there are some of those in place. But if you are a member of the Spectre Studio channel, you are more than welcome to contact either me or Spectre FedSen. There's a lot of us a way to get a hold of us and become one of the actors of the iconic Zombicide game. There are a lot of female options right now, so if you're a female gamer and want to play that, there are chances of anyone can play any sex role. It doesn't really matter. It's about actor. You're really just going to be seeing the pieces, but we're willing to really open the doors to anybody who wants to do that because we want to fill the roster. And you just got to be able to travel a little bit because it's either most likely going to be at the house of Spectre FedSen, who has a wonderful little basement to play this game and has the capacity to really allow us to shoot well this scenario. And future is coming up, so again, if you're interested, it's usually going to be probably a Wednesday night. You can get time away from work and come over and do that. We can set up an episode and have you in. Let us know, because like I said, the roster is still open, and if you are still thinking about it, this video is old and you happen to come across it, I'll say in the future, by September, there will be a new group of survivors that this video will still be relevant to. And that will also be painted by the time we're ready to shoot those models as well. So it's not
you know, and it might not be limited to just one location. You know, if we get interest from a group of people and they want to take on the role of a few survivors as a group and run through the missions, you know, we might make a trip out to a local gaming store and roll an episode out there. But either way, you're going to see a lot more Zombicide from Spectre Studios because it is a great game. We love playing it. So it's something that you'll get a lot of. Same thing with X-Wing. Games that we enjoy, games that we know you guys like watching and are responding to. We'll put more of those up as we go through and delve into different games here and there. And speaking of games that we've kind of been playing for a while, you had some new news for WarMachine as well. I've got some of you seen on our studios, Orion behind me. I'm going to go get him into bed, so I'll let Ben talk about some new news from WarMachine and where Fantasy Flight's going.
Yep. I'll carry on a little bit more with that and some other things that are basically around the news. So Privateer Press is releasing a couple things out there. One of the new things is I thought was pretty cool catching this was Captain Victoria Haley really setting a model there. Whoops. I think I'm showing more of our old screen here. So let me get into this again. I'll show you this. So Masterwork. So they're releasing a statue. You can see it's a beautiful model, one that just looks fantastic. So all you members who are part of the Signar really want to check that out. That looks just awesome, and go with that. Another thing I want to kind of show you is Forge World. So here is Fulgrim. He is now out on release as well. So some cool things there for you to check out. Thought that was pretty good. So those are some cool things working in that aspect. really enjoyed it. I think we need to get close to finishing things up here. One last thing. You've seen Spectre FedSen do a lot of tabletop, but I'm getting him into the world of miniature gaming. Again, you've heard me talk about mini wargaming. So I just picked him up. The Reclaimers. Myself, I have the Petro Morales Corporation. And I know that Spectre WoW also has the Xalanthos. So we have all three factions. Dark Potential will be one of the tabletop games that we're going to be adding to the Spectre Studio, as well as me and Spectre WoW both have Dust. So Dust will be coming up soon as well, we hope, following a couple of bat reps. And I know I will be trying to get my brother into that as well. So he'll be fielding some of the allied forces. And
I just stepped back in for the Dark Potential. Did you talk a little bit about that? And for those that don't know, Dark Potential actually comes from mini wargaming.
Yes.
So interesting bit there, which I think is great. Mini wargaming being a company that started off with a store and worked its way onto YouTube and everything, and now they've actually produced. I believe this is the first game that they've got out, right? The first.
Yeah, it's the only game they have out. It's the first wave, they call it. They already have a wave 2 planned. I've seen a lot of their battle reports with proxy figs to represent some things. So again, it's a great game. It looks very interesting. He likes a lot of scientific knowledge of things, so it plays well. Like I said, we'll put that in there. I'm unfortunately going to wrap this up on my end because the children are getting a little antsy and they're way past their bedtime. So again, I'll let you finish up to a lot of what we have going on. And again, subscribe, comment, let us know what's going on. We're going to try to cover a lot of news. If there's certain companies that you want us to follow, these are things that you want to add to us so we can do this. This is our first time, but we definitely could do now more and maybe add some more of us into this so we have a little bit more of a banter or knowledge base coming out of that.
Absolutely. So thanks for hanging out. And I'll see you on the next time on the table.
All right. We'll see you then.
All right. All right, just to add a couple other things to the end of this before I completely end the broadcast here. One of the other things that we're looking at doing with Spectre Studios, as you can see in the description of our YouTube page, we're basically an entertainment channel. Yes, we focus a lot on games, board games, miniature games, video games, etc. But we are an entertainment type of channel. I've been a huge fan of MMA, mixed martial arts, for the longest time. I've been following the UFC since UFC 1, and I've probably seen every event since then. And tomorrow, to date when this video was actually made, UFC 161 or 162 is taking place. So that tells you how many events they've had, amongst others. But on that note, Spectre Studios is getting into the mixed martial arts realm with some video and entertainment content. We've got a deal worked out with some New England fighters coming out of the Balanced Ground MMA team, which is in Windham, Maine. So you'll see some promo videos coming out. I've got one video out right now of John First Class Rayao that you can see on our channel. A lot of you have already taken a look at. He's a fighter out of his own gym, which is First Class MMA with Frosty's First Class MMA team. But you'll see some more highlight videos, promo videos, things of that nature. So we've got a little Spectre Studio game club going, and now Spectre Studio Fight Club, which I'm extremely excited about because, like I said, I've been a mixed martial arts fan for a very, very long time. And finally, to wrap up, one of the other things you can expect from the studios is us giving back to you guys, to our fans, to our viewers, to our fellow gamers. Ben and I have been talking about running a contest, and we will release some details on that contest in the very near future as well. But to give you an idea, it's going to involve our subscriber base. Obviously, the more subscribers, the more viewers that we have, the better it is for us for making content. It helps us out. You know, we're trying to promote the gaming community, so we want you guys to help us out to continue promoting that gamer community. So the first contest is going to involve basically the subscriber base. We're looking to boost ourselves, get to that 100 subscriber mark, and by doing that, well, when we do that, we'll be having a contest and giving away a prize or two. So stand by for more information on that. So I want to thank anybody that was hanging out with us tonight. I want to thank everybody that watches this video. Subscribe to Spectre Studios, whether you're a gamer, mixed martial arts fan, just a regular geek dad like we are. Subscribe, support us, watch our videos, send us feedback, email, comments in the description below. If there's any games out there you want us to do a bat rep on, talk about, etc. So again, thanks for hanging out with Spectre Studios. We'll see you next time, or we'll see you on the table.